Mr. Abbott, can you just clarify, had you read BHP's announcement?
Yes, I had.
When did you read it?
About 3:45 yesterday afternoon.
So why did you say on ABC last night that you hadn't?
I was responding to something that Lee had said about Marius Kloppers.
Just going back to the carbon tax and the mining tax, Marius Kloppers says that the mining tax doesn't apply to gold, iron ore and copper at Olympic Dam. So can you at least say that the mining tax has nothing to do with the Olympic Dam site being postponed?
And look, you know, there are lots of investors in Australia, and they're looking at this Prime Minister saying there will be no mining tax on gold and copper and all the rest of it, and they're thinking, yeah, sure. That's what she said about the carbon tax. And what have we got? We've got a carbon tax. Look, investors don't believe the assurances that this government makes, because they know that this government has form when it comes to saying one thing in one set of circumstances, but doing the opposite when it suits it to change its position. Now, just on the subject of the mining tax, the $20 billion Port Hedland expansion is obviously impacted by the mining tax because that is an iron ore port. BHP with Rio is Australia's biggest iron ore miner. BHP is one of our biggest coal miners. The mining tax is a big element in BHP's overall profitability down the track. So, of course, these investment decisions are not considered in isolation. The mining tax might not have been on the project, but it was certainly on the company doing the investment.
Can I just make a point there? The mining tax is not going to raise, according to modelling, not going to raise anywhere near the money that the government said it would, yet the government has already spent that money by expending it elsewhere. There's going to be a black hole, so the government is either going to have to increase the mining tax or expand it to cover other mining elements and commodities. The Greens, the government's coalition partner, insists that the mining tax should cover all ores, including uranium, nickel and the like. So Wayne Swan can't have it both ways. He's already spent the proceeds of the mining tax. He's not going to get anywhere near that from the mining companies, so he'll have to either increase the tax or expand it to cover other commodities.
Now, your Resources Minister, Martin Ferguson, has said this morning, Ian Macfarlane has said that the carbon tax bill was assessed with Olympic Dam by BHP as around $50 million. For a $20 to $30 billion project, that's a pretty small change, isn't it?
Look, the fact of the matter is this government's policies have turned good investments into marginal ones, and they've turned marginal projects into impossible ones. That's what this government's done. It's made good projects marginal, it's made marginal projects impossible, and in the end it might be tens of billions of dollars rather than tens of millions of dollars rather than hundreds of millions of dollars, but it all counts. It all counts. All these things are placed in the scales when big decisions like this are being made.
Is Marius Kloppers just being polite by not citing the carbon or the mining taxes in his statement yesterday?
He didn't need to refer to them yesterday because for months both Marius Kloppers, the CEO of BHP, and Jack Nasser, the chairman of BHP, have been warning this government that Australia had gone from being a low-cost place to invest to being a high-cost place to invest. As Jack Nasser said back in May, sure, governments have a right to change tax and royalty regimes, but he said these decisions have repercussions, and the repercussions are that investments in Australia look less attractive, investments in places like Canada look more attractive.
So in 12 months' time, if the coalition is in government, you repeal the mining tax, you repeal the carbon tax, can you then see the Olympic Dam site up and running within how long after you are elected?
We want to create the best possible environment for investment. Now, there's no magic wand that forces companies to invest in Australia. What we've got to do is create the best possible environment that will attract countries and companies to invest in Australia.